today. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, they will be there, but Trey Hendrickson will not. The NFL sack leader is in the last year of his deal that will pay him $16 million this season, but he is not reporting to camp until he gets a long-term deal. Bengals owner Mike Brown said, quote, "I think it'll get done." But Hendrickson may not be as optimistic as you can see. Hendrickson nowhere near Cincinnati, posting this to his Instagram story early this morning from Florida. His absence from training camp, the latest development in what has been a month-long stalemate between the four-time Pro Bowler and the Bengals. So let's get some perspective here. Our NFL analyst, Damian Woody, and of course, NFL senior front office insider, Mike Tannenbaum are here. All right, so I want to get both of your thoughts here on Trey Hendrickson. Mike T, from your perspective as a former GM, why hasn't this deal gotten done? Because they got Chase done, they got T. Higgins done. Why not Hendrickson?
They waited, and by waiting, Brian, it cost them a lot of money. At the end of last season, Nick Bosa was the highest-paid pass rusher at $34 million. This offseason, Max Crosby, Danielle Hunter, Myles Garrett, and most recently, T.J. Watt have brought that market up to $41 million. Here's a guy that has outproduced T.J. Watt. They were born within 2 months of one another. This market has gone up $7 million per year. I don't understand why at the end of the season they didn't try to get Trey Hendrickson done. It would have been a lot less expensive.
Well, and the biggest thing is you've known as the Bengals organization that this guy's wanted a new deal for 2 years now. 2 years you've known that Trey Hendrickson has wanted a new deal. And like Mike talked about, all these other players have gotten their deals done. This should be, in my opinion, this deal shouldn't be hard to figure out because the numbers are there. The structure are there, the years are there. And we're talking about a Bengals organization that during the offseason, they went out there and they signed, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You think, okay, this team is heading in the right direction. But then they go back bangling again with Trey Hendrickson. And also their first-round pick isn't signed and he's not in camp. And so when you're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, an organization, by the way, that's notorious for starting off slow, this is not the type of momentum you want heading into training camp.
As a player, Bill, isn't this your only play if you want a new deal?
The only play is withholding your services. That's the only thing that you can do. Now, it's very expensive, but a guy like Trey Hendrickson, he has the money to be able to do that.
It's expensive. How expensive will it be for him?
$50,000 a day, and that's why we don't see a lot of holdouts in this new system, Brian. But to me, that's right now his only play is, as Damian said, not to show up, withhold his services. But again, let's give credit to Cincinnati. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins were critical components. I just don't understand how they didn't try to be more proactive in this situation.
So he's already said that he's not going to play on his current contract. If that's the case, what are your thoughts about the Bengals and their playoff hopes this year?
Well, we saw last year, the quarterback in Joe Burrow had a historic season, and they still missed the postseason. Okay, and that's with Trey Hendrickson and playing on defense last year. Now you come into this season, you got a new defensive coordinator in Al Golden. You're missing your star defensive player. Again, do you want a situation where, again, you coming out of the gates slow because you don't have the players, the horses on the defensive side to give yourself the best opportunity to be successful? So, again, this is just I don't understand why this organization hasn't been able to sign their star pass rusher.
And for Cincinnati, they've got to get out the gate early on a winning streak because 4 of their first 6 games are on the road. Damian, Mike T, hold tight. We got to get your thoughts on the AFC champs.
That's right. The Chiefs are holding their first training camp practice today. And new on SportsCenter, Patrick Mahomes spoke to the media for the first time just moments ago.
Every year it resets, so we talk about that after we win, we talk about that after we lose. And so it started from day one. How can you attack this day to be better than you were the day before? And that's not only on the practice field, that's in the meeting rooms, and that's how you recover and get yourself ready to go. We know we have one of the hardest training camps out there, but it's for a reason. And so how can you attack it every day, not have those down days, but have a lot of just building and building. And that'll prepare us for the next day, and it'll prepare us for the end of the season. Obviously, we didn't play the way we wanted to play and on a national stage, a worldwide stage. And you want to go out there and be better, and so that kind of helps you out on some of those extra workouts that you don't want to do in order to get better for that next season. It kind of keeps that in your mind, but now we're here. I mean, we're here. You can start over. How can I get better for my teammates? How can I get better for the guy beside me? And going out there and attacking so that we can find a way to win that last game and not lose it.
Back here with the guys, and coming off of that loss in the Super Bowl that Mahomes just mentioned, we know the Chiefs made some changes on the offensive line this offseason. Josh Simmons in the draft and Jalen Moore in free agency. So, Damian, with those changes, what are your expectations for this Chiefs offense?
I think you're going to see them revert back to being a more explosive offense. And you can look back into the Super Bowl and you saw the deficiency, especially up front on the offensive line. For the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles totally dominated them up front. And make no mistake about it, last year was the worst offensive personnel around Patrick Mahomes in the Patrick Mahomes era. And a lot of that had to do with the deficiencies up front on the offensive line. So we've seen the Chiefs be aggressive and via the draft and free agency to try to rectify those things. And now we should be able to see them push the ball down the field, because that's been one area that the Chiefs have really been lacking in recent years.
Yeah, to that point, if you go back a year ago, this is remarkable. In terms of air yards, they were 30th in the NFL for Patrick Mahomes. That's crazy. He's getting rid of the ball quickly because he's under duress. So when you factor in, as you mentioned, Amina, not only Josh Simmons, but get Jalen Moore, they invested in Trey Smith. They turned a weakness, hopefully, into a strength. And if you can protect Patrick Mahomes with a healthy Hollywood Brown, with Xavier Worthy, and eventually they'll get Rashee Rice back, they should be much better on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and you mentioned it right there. Mahomes had a dip in a few statistical categories, talking about passing yardage. He got sacked more also. Mike T, how confident are you that Mahomes, that he can return to form that has gotten Kansas City to the Super Bowl to win 3 of those last 6 Lombardi trophies?
Amina, extremely confident. If the 2025 Kansas City Chiefs would play the 2024 Kansas City Chiefs, they would win by 10 points or more. Last year, what they did to win 15 games, as D-Wood was mentioning, with a team that really wasn't as talented, was remarkable. This is a 15-win team that went to the Super Bowl, and they are way better. They are deeper at skill players. They are deeper on the offensive line. So if their key players could stay healthy, I like them to win the division for the 10th year in a row and to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it looks like they could do that if they shore up that offensive line and they get those weapons back in that wide receiver room. There's a rookie quarterback reporting to camp today, though, that we've got to get to, Brian.
Absolutely, because, Amina, the Titans also opened training camp today, and it's new on SportsCenter. Titans GM Mike Borgonzi talked about the #1 overall pick quarterback Cam Ward.
Yeah, just growth. I think, Coach has mentioned in the spring he's really happy with the progression that he's had. And it's just really to continue to grow the playbook, the rapport with the receivers, reading coverages, all that stuff that goes into, playing in this league at the quarterback position. So, we feel really good about the progress that he's made and where he's headed.
Back here with Mike T and Damian. All right, Mike T, get your perspective here, because you've got some experience in bringing in a high draft pick rookie into the fold quarterback. I think all 3 of us were in New York when you got Mark Sanchez, I think 5th overall. What's the key in setting up success for Cam Ward, do you think?
Well, first of all, you want to overpay offensive linemen to protect them. They did a great job. All right? I mean, I was all-star. But you want to ignore the noise, right? You want to eliminate distractions. And you guys know, especially in New York, every pass poor Mark threw was charted. Was it too fast, too low? Was it accurate? And just concentrate, Cam, on getting better. Will Levis is out for the year. This is going to be his job. I really like him. I think he's going to play well. Just worry about getting better.